What up, what up, what up, internet? Welcome to the Pop Cult Crew. This is Niels RY, aka Boop. And I am joined and I am joined by
Shannon, aka head injury man, healing inside membrane, hits incensed and minced. Him. I'm
him.
him. Head injury man.
Perfect. Perfect. Oh, and we are here joining y'all to do a quick fun episode on him. Shannon and I just watched him not that long ago from this recording, and I was like, as we were walking, I was like, Shannon, we should probably do an episode on this because I think Shannon and I both had a similar enjoyable experience, and we were really questioning some of the discourse we've heard about him. And so we're like, yeah, you know what? The pop cult might want to hear about what we think about the movie Him, and then they can make a decision themselves of whether they want to watch it or not. So that's the context for the episode. Just some real quick information about the movie. Him came out not that long ago. The it was directed and co-written by Justin Tipping, I believe. It's well known to be executive produced or just produced, I believe, by Jordan Peele. And you can very much see Jordan Peele influence this movie forward, backward, and sideways. And lastly, some of the stars are, of course, Marlon Wayans, Tyreek Withers, and Julia Fox. So, oh, and it also had a $27 million budget, and at the current moment, it is at 22 million. So that's probably means it's gonna at least break even, but of course, I'm assuming they would have wanted a higher return based off of the quality and content of the movie. So that's where we are with background on the movie Him. Shannon, curious if you want to start, brother, and where you want to start with this.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly hit the cast, starting on the cast. So yeah, Tyreek Withers. I haven't really looked up his IMDb yet, but just based off face period, I don't think I've seen him in anything. So I don't know if this is his if I doubt this is like his first sort of movie type deal because I feel like we would have heard that a lot. But
I'm pretty, not to interrupt you, I'm
yeah,
pretty sure this is his first movie.
okay, this is his first
Now,
movie.
I think most of us know him from an episode of Atlanta. So there is an
Oh,
episode of Atlanta, I think one of the last seasons. I'll just tell you it real quick. He
yeah, yeah.
plays a mixed kid and everybody's getting like their reparations and he wants to go to college and he needs
Oh,
the money.
that is
And
him.
so all of a sudden, instead of
Yeah.
just straight up act, oh, so you seen the episode?
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I've seen
him.
all of Atlanta, and that's why. Okay, okay, okay. Yes, okay, yeah,
And Kevin Samuelson is
yeah.
in the episode. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mhm.
That's him. That's him.
Okay,
So I think
okay.
that's where most people know him from. I don't think he's done much before or after that. I think this is like the big one that came up
Mhm.
from him after this.
Yeah, but okay, but yeah. So I was at Tyreek Withers, and yes, how could I forget? I loved it, Atlanta, all seasons, pretty much. I'm gonna say all seasons. But anyway, the cast, him, obviously Marlon Wayans, who to me he was definitely the star in this one. I knew that was one of the reasons I was going to watch it. I knew.
Oh, my bad. Supposedly he was in the remake of I Know What You Did Last Summer. We
Oh, okay.
clearly did not watch that.
Yeah, yeah. I have not watched that either.
My
But
bad. Go ahead.
yeah, but of course Marlon Wayans, and that was one of the reasons. Like even though I was hearing, touch and go, sort of like, oh, it's good, it's not good, it's whatever. I was like, look, with the other pieces, I mean, it's got football, sports
Hmm.
movie. I'm with it. Jordan Peele has his hands in it. I'm with it. And this has Marlon Wayans, and you could tell Marlon Wayans is not just playing like a goofy role, the funny guy. And he is one of the like best performers, I think, of our like generation. Like not gonna say the best, but one of the best because
Definitely one of
especially
the best. Hmm.
yeah, one of the best, especially seeing just the range that he has now. Like we've seen him do suspenseful, emotional. In this case, it's sort of like
Action.
yeah, action. this sort of scary type person. Then of course we've seen him do comedy, but
Mhm.
anyway, and I loved him in this movie. Then like I mentioned it's got Julia Fox, but I say this because I'm looking through the cast and I'm like, I hardly know anybody who was in this movie outside of those maybe four people. Because I'm looking at the names. We have someone named Guap Dad 4000. I I am afraid. I'm just gonna say that's his name. I'm afraid to look up IMDb because I don't know what I'm gonna see with but his name is Guap Dad 4000. He played Murph.
What
I
a
think
name. What a
yeah,
name.
yeah. Naomi Grossman, I'm sure I've seen her in some things before. And then even here, I'm sort of like, who are these other people? Like I know there was one of the guys here who was like his agent, but I'm like Norman Towns, like what was he doing in there?
Well, I will say
John,
this. His agent actually is a big star.
okay,
So
with
that's
Jim
Tim
Peel.
Derrick. That
Yeah.
is the guy from the Eric Andre show. You know, the two white guys that used to have a show on Adult Swim that was like, oh, it's Tim and Eric. Tim and Eric
Oh, Tim and Eric.
show.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't know it, that is
Yeah.
fine. That is not your jam, but there is a crew of people. There is like, you know, people who like the Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah.
You know, folks who like that's their jam.
Hmm.
They love this guy.
They were all about
You
this
know what I'm
Tim.
saying? So just know he's a big deal to some people. I'm sure
Yeah.
Jordan Peele and him
Probably
are
good
like
for.
two peas in a pod. Like they
Yeah.
got the same kind of humor and everything.
Yeah, but but just sort of looking through, I'm like, wow, outside of like a couple people, I'm like, I don't know a lot of people that were in this cast, but still, great movie. So that's starting with the cast really quick. Getting into it, so to be real, let's probably start with the reviews. We've talked about this some, and I'll
Yeah.
say I've mentioned I think the people who were giving this such negative reviews, they either, or maybe it was a combination of all of these things, a lot of the imagery and the things of course there's pieces of the toxic masculinity, but also that sort of even the deeper message they were putting there of like kids being sort of groomed, and not like in a sexual way, but actually like groomed to try to be like what they consider like the man or him or the GOAT, the greatest, what that means. And so
Yep.
you have this level of these kids who are risking their lives, and then almost I would say this distortion of reality. Like if somebody gets hurt, you help them up. As opposed to, which happened in this movie, someone got hurt, is seizing up on the ground. Did our main character help him up? No. His words were, and I quote, "Dead body alert, get your boy, tell him not to mess with me." So I mean, but this whole and
Which
there's this whole
describes that's football.
yeah, yeah.
No, I
And
mean to the worst like to the
yeah,
most extreme, but
yeah.
that's
And
football.
so but again, I just mentioned the reviews or those pieces real quick. But yeah, I think people giving negative reviews, they either didn't get some of the deeper messages like that. I I feel like maybe they didn't play a sport because
Yeah.
again, I think that connection, like we've played football, we've played different sports, and there is I don't think I've ever seen this in the movie really where they just really get into that piece of okay, when you're playing this sport, you do become a different person. If you have been entrenched in this sport, in this culture, in this whatever, basically all your life, which is this kid, like, yes, there are literally some physical things that it would do to you. Because we know of CTE and different injuries that happen, and maybe people are not the same after. But there's also something psychologically that it does to you. And so we see that,
Yeah.
but yeah, those are two of the pieces. I'm like, either they didn't get the messages, they didn't play a sport, or for some other reason. But this was a good movie in my opinion. But
I, brother, I agree with everything you said. I think so. I'll just go on a journey. I'll bring the pop cult on the journey with us because
yeah.
we went to go see Weapons, and while we were like watching the trailers, we saw this trailer for him, and
Hmm.
all of us who were with us at the time. Shout out to Mark. Shout out to our mutual friend. We were sitting there. We were like, we're going to go watch this. This
Hmm.
movie looks amazing. just off the strength of the trailer and specifically Marlon Wayans in that trailer, we're like, oh, that movie's gonna be great. We gotta go watch it. And the only thing that changed between watching that trailer and when that movie came out were the reviews.
Hmm.
Rotten Tomato was giving it stuff. There are folks that I respect, but like this is some of the things that I heard them say. The plot was predictable. There wasn't volume or depth in the story. Shannon, I don't know what movie they were watching.
Yeah.
That was not a predictable plot.
This was about to
There
say,
was a whole bunch of depth in that story.
and this I was about to say,
What?
just to say that part when you were like the plot was predictable. No, it wasn't
No, it wasn't.
because the last 20 to 30 minutes we were in a different movie. We had to look around, be like, wait, are we in the same theater? Because
Shit, I
that
was
was a
like,
different
what's
that
going
was a different
on?
movie.
I was smacking up. What's going on? What's happening right now? Yeah, that was not predictable at
Yeah.
all. And no death? What? There was so much symbolic stuff.
Hmm.
I'm sure like when we walked out, I was like, I would gladly go watch it again. I would definitely like would absolutely pay money to watch it again because I'm sure there's stuff I missed.
Yeah.
Like I'm positive there's stuff I missed. That's death. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand. And those were like reviews from people that I like really paid attention to. So between the Rotten Tomato and that, when I walked out of the movie, my immediate thought was that was not a bad movie. That was
Hmm.
absolutely not a bad movie. I don't know if it was a good movie, but that was not a bad movie. At least that was my immediate reaction. And my other immediate reaction was Marlon Wayans did his thing.
Hmm.
That might be his best acting I've seen. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It might be. I don't know if it is because that brother has an amazing catalog, but it's up there. It's I think that highly of how he acted in this movie. It was fantastic. I think the
Hmm.
young brother did a great job too.
Yeah.
But now that I'm a couple days away, I absolutely that movie wasn't a bad movie, but that movie was a good movie. That was a
Hmm.
real good movie. That like I really now that I've gotten some time away from, it, I'm like, man, yo, it was really good.
Yeah.
It was really good. Those last couple minutes are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I'm still processing
Right.
that,
A
but
lot of
like,
death, a lot of unnecessary death.
yeah, a lot of depth. But that, as far as a movie, good movie. That
Yeah.
was absolutely at least a good movie in my humble opinion. It sounds like
Yeah.
you feel the same way too, though.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like we said, there were a lot of messages there, but one or two that really stand out to me, we mentioned the whole GOAT conversation.
Yeah,
And so of
that
course,
was a good one. Yeah, when you brought that
yes,
up, that was a really
yeah.
good.
So
That was dope. Yeah.
yeah, so of course, we all know GOAT standing for greatest of all time. And this movie was all about becoming the GOAT. I want to be the greatest
Hmm.
football player ever. He's essentially being trained by the greatest football player ever and in hopes that he will become that. But it really put this piece because, basically what happens is the goat has to quote unquote die. Like that's it.
Hmm.
And so but the deeper piece of that was, so who is the GOAT right now? If we say football, arguably I'm not even really a fan of his, but I would say probably Tom Brady. We'd probably say
Probably
Tom
Tom Brady.
Brady is the GOAT. Multiple Super Bowl wins. He's done it for more than one team. He's succeeded like all across the board.
Yes.
And we can say Tom Brady's the GOAT. Who was the GOAT before Tom Brady?
Some. You want me to answer that or
Sure. Well, sure.
I? Well, the fact that I have to think
Hmm.
is probably going to the point that you're saying, but I think most folks would say Joe Montana
Yeah,
would be the GOAT before Tom
yeah,
Brady. Yeah.
yeah. And so, even as we think about it, we're like, I mean, if you are the GOAT, again, meaning you're the greatest of all time, then essentially, I mean, there's always a GOAT, but then when there is a new GOAT, for the purpose of this movie, the GOAT dies. But then in real
Hmm.
life, that sort of happens as well. Like, sure, we've got our record books where if we base it on, wins and yards passed and touchdowns, we can probably look at the record book and we can see, okay, Tom Brady is number one and this person's number two. So that means they were maybe the GOAT right before Tom Brady. But we know in the reality and the relevance of things, like they die because you mentioned Joe Montana. I'm sure was the GOAT. but I haven't heard that name mentioned in terms of relevant things in I don't know when.
Nope.
You
Don't
know?
nobody talk about Joe Montana no more.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And so,
Mm-hmm.
and I was having this discussion with someone and I was like, okay, because they were like they don't watch football. So I was like, okay, what about they were a tennis fan? So I was like, who would you say is like the GOAT, best tennis player ever? Serena Williams. Easy. Boom. And I was like, okay. So who was the GOAT before Serena Williams? Woo. No clue. And again, the only other way is sort of look at the record books and maybe you remember, but you look at record books, whoever is number two in wins and this and that, they were probably the GOAT before her. And so it does this piece of, yeah, like the GOAT essentially dies because the new GOAT takes over. And again, that's a concept, and then it literally is something that has to happen in the movie as well.
And
And also, the
what's
GOAT isn't willing to give up easily. You got to remember that. Nobody just
bruh,
wants to say you the
I
future.
think that's what the movie shows in such a dope way. Because now, after you see the end, like once you like finish the movie, Marlon Wayans, Marlon Wayans' character Isaiah White, like he's training this guy to essentially kill him and replace, like, have him be gone to the ether, right? And
Mhm.
so as he's seeing him struggle but also get better, there's this dual, like, I'm proud, I'm excited to see he's getting better, but that means my days are numbered, right?
Mhm.
So it's like you, and now that I realize that that's the tension he's dealing with, I can see those moments he's showing that in the movie where he's like actually excited about some of the stuff he's doing, and then but like you can see like there's this sense of sadness the whole time. We're thinking he's sad because he's going to retire, but nah, he's sad because he's like, if this dude is really as good as everyone thinks he is, and if he actually shows it, I'm dying. Like I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to die soon. And because it's like he said his order was football, family, God. He
Mhm.
worships football.
Mhm.
So whether that was just all symbolic, and I actually think the end of the movie was just kind of all just symbolic of him no longer playing football anymore, that means like to him, life is over, right?
Mhm.
And because once he signed that contract, everything that we saw after he signed that contract could have just been in their heads. That could have just been training camp. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like that
Yeah.
could have just been them like battling and Isaiah being like, I gotta retire. But that is just death for him because just like we were saying, who's talking about Joe Montana now that Tom Brady's here? You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
who we don't give Dr. J no more love. We don't give Kareem no more love because of Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's
Mhm.
an actual death that happens when someone else becomes the GOAT. And I think that's phenomenal that they were able to show that. And I think Marlon Wayans did a great job showing that in his
Mhm.
acting skill, like just top notch, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And then I mean what gets me too is even the contract in the end, like because again, I think we always have these stories and we see them and I mean maybe as kids we probably maybe hope to have lived that out too, like oh to be a professional athlete someday.
Yeah. Hmm.
But we see all the stuff the guy goes through, this and that, and then in the end, they're like, sign the contract. And usually our assumption is when you get to that point, who wouldn't want to sign that contract? You are signing to get fame, do something you love for however long you can, make a lot of money, all of that. But then we do hear players now just saying like, man, I feel like I'm trapped. I hate this.
Yep.
Like,
Hmm.
I play the game, but it's a business and it ain't fun no more. And so our assumption always like you happily sign that contract and you are happy to sign every other extension and contract that comes after. And then in the very end, our main character, Cam, he was like, man, forget y'all. No, I'm not signing this contract because I know what this means. I'm signing my life away. I've sacrificed enough of myself. Look around.
Hmm.
I've sacrificed enough bodies of other people. I'm, I'm done. But yeah, it was just another point that hit because I'm like, we always assume they want to do that, and then we even saw there was some coercion that happened or
Hmm.
attempted. The guy was like, sign the contract or I'll kill your whole family. Like,
Yeah.
so there, yeah, there's this piece that we
Man.
never really
Mm.
think about that like, and, and to be real, okay, I'll take it one more step. So he literally said, sign this contract or I'll kill your family. And that was so like to force him. And yet we hear the stories of so many people being like, I signed this contract and this allowed my family to live a certain way.
Exactly.
Meaning, like now we're millionaires and maybe life is good. I got mom a house and this and that, but it is like I've signed this contract so my family can survive. Whereas
Yep.
that guy said, sign a contract or I kill your family. It's like I don't know if it's like a duality, but it's like
Yes,
two
bro.
sides
It's the
of the same
same.
coin.
It's the
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah.
It's like if you don't do this, think about what will happen to your family. Your
Mm,
family is depending on you to
yes.
get this money. So sign this contract or your family dies. It's a fake real threat. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like, but I think the other thing, bro, like, is that how you interpreted the ending of the movie?
The stuff around the contract
Yeah,
and
all that
him
like
kill.
as like him being like, nah, I'm not, I'm done with it. Like, do you think he like was done with football after that? Like, how'd you interpret the end of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd have to be because I mean, what else do you do? Like if you're deciding I'm not going to go pro and sign this contract, which I mean, I'm assuming they're not going to say this particular team is like this. But if you were to sign with the with the Denver Broncos, I mean, we treat you lovingly. We don't take your soul.
Yeah,
Like
we ain't trying to do all that. We just want to win some football games. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's like it's not that deep. That's the training office.
yeah,
You want to here's my number. We can text. I don't really go to the club like that. I don't.
yeah.
Oh
But
man,
but
that's
yeah,
funny.
no, yeah. My interpretation is, yeah, he got to that level and said, "I'm done with football because of how much I've sacrificed, and I see this ugly side of what more I even have to sacrifice, and like it's basically all I have left to give is my soul, and I'm not
Yeah.
giving that."
Man, that sounds, you might be right. You're probably right. I
But no,
think the
what were you
beauty of
thinking?
this movie is that ending is such a like like a shift in like the vibe of how the movie was going because it's just straight bloody action
Hmm.
that I think there's supposed to be different interpretations of what that is. Like that was art. That was like that the director just really taking the artistic direction and be like, all right, now figure out how you're going to take this. Which is why I think there were no words at the end. Because that
Hmm.
would have just grounded us in whatever was going on. And I think that's why he chose not to do it. What a choice.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think that was the choice that he did. And to me, I interpreted that as like in order like I am not going to be the next Isaiah White. I'm going to be the next Cade.
Mm,
Like I'm screw this team, screw like they were essentially like you're going to be our new Isaiah. And he's like in order for me to be the GOAT, I can't deal with any of y'all. I can't have his agent. I can't have like I'm about to do my own thing because I'm not trying to be the next him. I'm not trying to follow all this stuff. Like I do care about my family. I do want to support them, but I'm going to be the GOAT. But I'm
mhm.
not. I don't need y'all to be the GOAT. That's how I took the ending away.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good one too. Because I imagine it's like that for so many teams because if you came into Chicago, the Chicago Bulls, it is not just, oh, can you be a good player? It's like who's gonna be the next Jordan? And I mean really even like coming
Hmm.
into the NBA, it was like who's gonna be the next Jordan? Like not just who's gonna be a good player. Yes, we're going to call you a different name. We'll call you LeBron. We'll call you Jimmy Butler. We'll call you Step. But who's going to be the next Jordan for real though? Like
Yeah.
that type of thing. Same, I'm sure going
Dang.
into football, especially. I mean, if you're going to play for the Patriots, even now they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We're going to call you a different name, but like, who's going to be the next Tom Brady here?
Yeah. Who's
So
gonna be
yeah.
our new Brady? And
Hmm.
they just looking around, man. That's and he was like, I'm going to be the next Cade.
Hmm.
So that's how I took away the ending. But yeah, I think we're in agreement. This movie was great. It
Yeah.
does not deserve the hate that it got. I struck like I'd watch it again.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you had any thoughts. The last thing I'll say, Shannon, is, and I know we in a sensitive time, but I'm just gonna say this. And this is for the folks who actually listen to the podcast and not just watch stuff on social media. If this cast was all white, somebody would be nominated for something.
Hmm.
If all you changed was that everybody, not just, a few folks here or there, but if everybody was white, which I think is actually possible because the story, race is a factor, but it is not the factor. It's about sports, right?
Hmm.
If you had an all-white cast, somebody's getting nominated, and you ain't changed anything, somebody's getting nominated, and they would truly appreciate the artisticness of this. Because this is an art
Yeah.
movie. This isn't like it's a movie, but it is a movie for film nerds
Hmm.
who want to study symbolism and
Yeah.
filmography and choices on this scene versus this scene and the duality. Like that's what this.
Color palettes, like just all
Yes,
the things. Yeah.
yeah,
Lighting.
that's that's what that is, and people would actually see it for that versus whatever's going on now. And I lied. I got one more thing to say. Part of
Go
the
ahead.
reason I chose to watch this movie and why we started talking about it because it went from I was talking about this earlier. We saw the trailer, then the reviews came out, and I was like, I ain't gonna watch it because I just heard a bunch of stuff that was like, this ain't good. And then Marlon Wayans made a post on social media, and he put a bunch of the movies he was in, and he put the Rotten Tomato score. And all the movies he put up had bad Rotten Tomato scores. But those movies included Don't Be a Menace,
Hmm.
White Chicks,
Hmm.
one of his scary movies. I forgot which one. I think it might have been the first one, which is bananas. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like some of his like serious roles too. And I was like, I love all of those movies. And
Yeah.
I love him in all of those movies.
Hmm.
And he's telling me his entire career, the critics have been like, nah, this isn't that good. Nah, this ain't that good. And I'm like, those are classics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like those are all classics, and even some you may not like the movie, but there's about five scenes that you quote to this day. You know what I'm saying of
Hmm.
some of those movies, and so that was enough for me to be like, dang, you know what? Maybe I should give it a shot. And I'm so glad I'm dead. I'm so glad that you encouraged us to go watch the movie because that was one of the best movies I've seen this year. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, like to go along with that, I mean, of course, we can easily say we're fans. Who's not a fan of like the Wayans family? But there's I just appreciate them so much, and it's like the older I get, the more I realize how the Wayans family have like all of them have just made such huge contributions to entertainment, and not even just contributions, but changed the game in many places or in many
hmm
spaces because we know the history. The reason we have the Super Bowl show as it is today is because of the Wayans family
that's
in
right.
living color. Like if it was not that, the Super Bowl halftime show would still be maybe
Parades and
yeah, a parade,
Rocketeers
yeah,
or the
something like
Rockettes.
that.
That's what they
Yeah,
are. Yeah. Yep.
yeah. So it's like that alone is amazing, and like the fact that they've taken whatever budget they've had and they've had big industries. Like again, the Super Bowl show happened because In Living Color was taking a lot of ratings during halftime.
Yep.
And then the NFL, with all their money, even back in '93, they said, nah, forget this. We get Michael Jackson next year. Y'all not turning away from here. And it's been big ever since. But again, yeah, like I said, I appreciate the Wayans family and Marlon.
They made Scary Movie, gave it bad ratings, and then made five more.
Yes,
The Wayans were gone and they were still making scary movies. You know what I'm
yes.
saying? Like, but they said it wasn't a good movie. Get out of here. Anyways, bro. Sorry.
But yeah, like I said, that and mentioning him, yeah, I've always been a fan of his. Like yeah, I'm just like he's one of my favorite Wayans. Like he's always been funny in Wayans Brothers in the show and his movies, and then of course I feel like I really appreciate it. He's getting to do all types of roles now, and he's still gonna make you laugh. Like you're still gonna
hmm
laugh, but he will be creepy, he'll be scary, he'll be serious, he'll be emotional, whatever it is. So yeah, big fan.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Uh,
man.
yeah.
Well, thanks everyone. Thank you for listening. We have a new episode every month. You can find us on all social media at Popcult Crew, POPCULTCREW. Email us at the popcultpodcast@gmail.com. Become a member of the Pop Cult at our Patreon at patreon.com/popcultcrew, where you can see all of our full video episodes. Don't forget to rate us, review, and subscribe. And as always, join the cult.
Blue
Peace.
42. Blue 42. We out.
Peace.
Pop Code Crew.